Hello, my name is Susan Martin Maffei. I'm a fiber artist that has been working professionally for almost 40 years now. My background includes art studies and studio work at the Art Students League in New York City, an apprenticeship at the Scheuer Tapestry Workshop, also in New York City. I also served an internship for the perfection of tapestry techniques at the Gobelin in Paris, France. I have been trained to be a conservator for historical textiles, and I also dabble in book arts. My artistic style is really tapestry, and it has always been narrative. I do both flat wall hangings and sculptural pieces in tapestry. My influences have been the study of these historical textiles, in particular two, one being early European tapestry that was really used as a political or social document to document the deeds of the king, or the revelations of the Bible, or life, court life of the nobles, or maybe even the antics of the common folk. The other influence has been Pre-Columbian textiles. That culture is very interesting because they never had a written language. Their written language was fiber, and they had a special feel for the integrity of the mark making that helped resolve the image, very special of all the cultures of the world. My inspiration has always been the environment around me. I grew up in a very small farming community. I moved to New York City in order to do the apprenticeship at the Scheuer Tapestry Studio, and I was absolutely overwhelmed by the millions of people that live there. I was also enthralled by all of their celebrations, things like the Macy's Day Parade or the blessing of the animals at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine, all of the sports competitions that went on, or even something as simple as going to the movies where you're rubbing elbows with millions of people. So most of my early work was really a comment about a common folk living in New York City. About 10 years ago, I moved up into the Hudson Valley region to a small hamlet on the river, just a little bit south of the Albany area, and became quite enthralled again with the beauty of our environment here. For the past couple years, I have been working on a series of work that I call Pandora boxes. And they are looking at the beauty of our area, the animals, whether they're insects, birds, mammals, or even plants, and what the human footprint has done to affect these animals, whether it be invasive, endangered, on decline, or even, genetic alterations that we do. My process is quite simple but long in that I take an interest in an animal. I do research both on the internet and books. Very often I like to actually see the animal, in particular the insects. And so I'll make an appointment with the Natural History Museum, go in, talk to a curator, actually see, for instance, a collection of beetles before I attempt to do something about them. This particular piece is part of that series. This one is interesting. It's the European Hornet. And it's interesting because it falls into two categories. One being it's invasive in the United States. But it is endangered in Europe, in particular in Germany, where you are heavily fined if they find you destroying a nest or destroying a habitat. I usually start with the idea of the tunic. So each box has a tunic. In this case, the tunic represents the nest. Most of us in this area are very familiar with our native wasps or hornet, and they make these kind of paper football-shaped things that you see in the trees or maybe even attached to the front of a building. The European hornet is different in that it doesn't like to have its nest outside. So it builds its nest in abandoned buildings or sheds. And maybe because it is inside and not exposed to the weather, they tend to be a bit more colorful. And the color is determined by the type of wood that they chew and mix with the saliva in order to make the nest. This particular tunic is woven of paper and hemp. And one of the wonderful things, the things that I love about tapestry, is that you can add to the identity of the image that you're making by using a particular fiber. And so this tunic really does have the feel and the sense of the actual nest. The hornets themselves are made of a variety of materials, but perhaps the most interesting is a silk-wrapped stainless steel that allows me to actually bend the form once the hornets have been woven. Some of them are woven directly as into the tunic as the tunic is being woven. Others are separate and then can be added later with Velcro. You'll notice at the bottom of the box that there is a mirror. That mirror allows us to look into the interior of that outside wrapping. And you will see in there the combs, which actually house the eggs and the young of the hornet. That also is made of paper, and it's made with a very simple tool, which is a wooden spool, empty, with 4 nails in it, and it's a series of loops that makes a hollow rope. And that hollow rope then is sewn together in the form of the comb. So that's what you would be seeing. All of the boxes are different sizes and open into different configurations. So hence this particular box opens to suggest that it's somewhere inside the wall of the building. I guess the message that I'm trying to bring to the attention of people by doing this series is very much in the tradition of tapestry with the social and political documents that were done. The beauty of these animals and the effect that we have on them. I just want people to be more aware of what's happening to our environment. I really do appreciate you listening to my talk, and I hope that you will take the time to come and see the exhibit. Thank you very much.